Hey everyone, welcome to the stream again. I am Jared. If you're new here, I've been doing Ruby long enough that I know a lot about it, and it still doesn't seem enough. Something around 8 years at this point, professionally anyway. And I run a company called. I guess we can switch over to my face while we do this part. I run a company called Supergood. We build e-commerce sites and e-commerce software built on Rails. We use a platform called Solidus, which is a Rails engine. It's extremely customizable and really fun to work on. Today we are doing Advent of Code problems. We are doing day 3 of the Advent of Code 2020 with a little bit of a twist. We're doing it in Ruby, and we're doing TCR, test commit revert, where every time I run my tests, if they pass, the code is committed if there were any changes, and if they fail, all my code's thrown away, or well, all of the code since I last committed is thrown away. It means that we are forced to move in very small steps, and I'm trying not to lean on my debugger to cheat to move forward. I'm trying to actually follow test drive all of the changes as much as possible. So if things start failing, I try and move in smaller and smaller steps. What else have we got? Oh, yes. Last time I made a mistake on stream. I suggested something about begin and end on ranges. I was like, oh, those probably aren't methods because those are keywords. I'm wrong. Jiggins was right. There is a begin and an end method. Oh, sorry. Switch over here. There is a begin and an end method on ranges. I use first and last, but that is begin and end should be just as good. That's that. I made a few changes to my template to move the test closer to the classes themselves, because I feel like we're going to end up with a bunch of those. I was also going to do a key binding to skeleton out empty poros with specs, but I didn't get around to that. I was going to write a Vim macro for that, but I was fighting with my Vim because it doesn't want to, auto read is not working somehow. I don't know what's up with that, but I did a bunch of Googling, and everyone's just oh, you want your files to change, turn auto read on. It's yeah, auto read's on. It's not working. So I don't know what's going on there. So I will be not using my Vim binding to do things. Unfortunately, I'll be suspending Vim, running the command, and then coming back in. Other than that, I cut all of the hair off of my head almost. My mustache is now probably longer than the hair on my head, so at least briefly, that sounds like I'm making progress. Oh, and of course, I'm taking part in a whiskey advent calendar through a local group called Whiskey Dev here in Victoria, and today's calendar. Whiskey, yeah, that was the one. Calendar Whiskey Dev. Today's whiskey is the Springbank Longrow Peated. Lots of good history on this one. A very old distillery. It's been through quite a journey. It's got a bit more peat than yesterday. Yesterday's tasted basically like gin. It was bizarre, but I have this beautiful glass from them. Come on, focus on it. There we go, with the Glencairn with the curly braces. Very nice. All right, up to 4 people. Welcome everyone. We'll be starting right now. Day 3, toboggan trajectory. With the toboggan login problem solved, you set off toward the airport. While travel by toboggan might be easy, it's certainly not safe. There's very minimal steering and the area is covered in trees. You'll need to see which angles will take you near the fewest trees. Ah, this is interesting. I like these these ones always remind me of roguelikes, and I have quite an affinity for roguelikes. Due to the local geology, trees in this area only grow on exact integer coordinates in a grid. That's convenient. You make a map, your puzzle input of the open squares, dots, and trees, hashes, octothorpes. You can see, for example, there's one on the screen here. These aren't the only trees, though. Due to something you read about once involving arboreal genetics and biome stability, the same pattern repeats to the right many times. Okay, sure. When you start on the open square dot in the top, you start on the open square in the top left corner and need to reach the bottom below the bottommost row on your map. So I need to go all the way down. Well, it says repeats to the right many times, but not left. Interesting. Okay. These details are important. As we saw yesterday, I am good at like missing details and implementing a whole thing and just not looking for the right thing. The toboggan can only follow a few specific slopes. You opted for a cheaper model that prefers rational numbers. Start by counting all the trees you would encounter for the slope right 3, down 1. From your starting position at the top left, check the position that is right 3 and down 1. Yes, okay, right 3, down 1. So 1, 2, 3, down 1. That's clear. And so on until you get to the bottom of that. The locations you check in the above example are marked here with 0, where there was an open square, and X where there was a tree. Okay, so yeah, sure, that makes sense to me. This example, traversing the map using this slope would cause you to encounter 7 trees. Starting at the top left corner of your map and following a slope of right 3, down 1, how many trees would you encounter? Okay, and we can take a look at the input. Okay. This seems relatively straightforward as a problem. Let's see how hard I can make it for myself. Okay, sorry. There we go. Get the right things on my Alt tab so that I can switch between things easily. All right, so this is some other puzzle. Not at all what we're doing. We are going to do 2020. Day 3, part 1. And I'm going to go off screen for a second while I set my session cookie. And geez. Sorry, I restarted my computer, so I lost my environment. Perfect. Okay, fixed it. No sensitive information on screen. We're good. We're good. All right. Let's. Oh, I almost pressed up too many times. Perfect. Okay. Day 3.rb, and let's just 3.text just for reference. It's very long and it repeats a lot of times to the right. Okay, so they got a test. They got us a test input, which I love using. That test input is the guy. So let's just make off with that. Put it in here. And I think Do we want to make a map class that parses this? Sure. Seems too easy, but yesterday seemed easy to me too, and obviously I demonstrated how many mistakes that you can make in something easy. Oh, what's going on here? Why do I have different numbers of... What happened? Dot. Ha. I didn't set paste mode when I pasted that in. That's just a Vim quirk. Vim quirks. I'm one of those Vim zealots who tells people not to use Vim. I'm never going to use it. Well, I might. I occasionally use other things, but I don't see myself ever not being a Vim person, but I don't recommend you follow me. All right. So, describe map. Do it. And we can make that pass by implementing, or make that not error by implementing that. Boom. No specs, but we are passing. And like, I don't know if you watch old Gary Bernhardt videos, for example, you see him doing similar things where he writes a like describe block and then runs it and then creates the class, but like we don't have the opportunity to do that in TCR land here, so I guess we won't. Let's see here. Class map. So map's going to need to take an input. So we are going to include context with our sample input above. And then we are going to, what's the first? I mean, let's write a test that it can be initialized. Sure. Then we need to write a constructor that takes an argument. We'll call this map data. You know. It's not a real test. It's just like a, you know, this doesn't generate an error kind of test. Oh, that's not the right command. Yeah, I'm suspending. Okay, so we got that. Now, I'm thinking we implement like a get method, maybe. Get and what do we want to say? The subject is in fact, let's make things a little easier on ourselves. Say let's call it map, and we'll say excuse me, fingers. Well, who knows what my fingers are doing? They're not doing what I'm trying to do, though. Say map. In fact, we can get rid of this test altogether now, because we're just going to use it here, and all of our other tests would fail if. So let's say get 0. Let's do the simplest option here. Get 0, 0. It turns no tree. It returns, sure, no, I don't know, that's whatever, doesn't matter. And say expect subject to equal, so empty. We'll just use the symbol empty to represent. And we know that is going to fail. So this should be, yeah, trying to use my keybind, it's not working. All right. Yeah. Lovely. Um, now what do we do? It's probably not so much data that we can't just jam it into a multi-dimensional array and do modular math on it. So that seems like the way, to like a two-dimensional array, and then we just use modulo, the modulo operator to make sure that we don't jump the bounds of it, or so that we loop, or however you want to say that. Okay. Equals map data. So we're going to split that on split normally splits on new lines. We should look that up, right? That's what I established yesterday, but then I think I second guessed myself. And then now that I've second guessed myself, gotta figure it out. Sure. Ruby 2.6 strings. I'm sure their split works the same as 2.7.2. Strip. Not strip. Split. Split. Divide string into substrings based on a delimiter. If pattern is a string, is pattern nil, value of $ is used. If $ is nil, which is the default, string is split on white space as if. Okay, so then I want new lines. Okay. I feel like I should know that, but map data split, so we got a bunch of lines. Don't need to strip anything off of them. And is there like a characters? Is that how we do I have to, or is it just like split on nothing? Just that. I guess so. There should be a method for that though, you know? There you go. Found it. Dot map chars. Cool, cool. We're doing good. And then we can define get to be an X and a Y. And we index this map data. Whoops. And we want the, I mean, it won't matter now, but we could, it's Y is the line, X is, yeah. And if I recall, whoops, if I recall, oh, it doesn't say anything about indexing. I'm just stressing about indexing, you know? 0 indexing, 1 indexing. We've now messed it up, so. But this won't succeed. And this is where I should have thought about this further. Because now I'm forced to do a little bit extra work to check that it's the symbol, to transform it into the symbol. Gotta move in small steps. And then we say empty, else tree. Oh, another passing test. I feel like that was worth a sip of scotch. It's very nice. It's very nice. Okay. I don't want to write a whole bunch of contexts. Because I'm lazy. It returns a tree when there's no tree. Oh, I'm gonna do that all night. That's my plan. It returns a tree when there's a tree. And I know someone out there is thinking, nothing. No. Wow. Actually, it's only, I think it might just be Mamesy here. So maybe no one's gonna call me on this. You wrote the other side of the conditional without writing a test for it. I'm gonna call myself on it. Cool, we have 2 specs. We have a tiny thing that works. I'm pretty sure if I just tried to do this in a single attempt with no specs, I'd be done by now, but that's not what we're doing tonight, is it? All right. So now we need to do the looping. It loops. So we need to test something off the edge. So we go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 should be a tree. Whoops. 13 should be a tree. All right. And now this is just at map data.first.length, right? I think we can just do that. You're very quiet today, chat. We can. Okay, so we got looping. Moving in nice tiny steps. We haven't even had any meaningful failures. This is doing pretty. This is too good. Where's the disaster gonna happen now? I think it's time to try the solution here. So solution for part 1, it matches what they told us. What did they tell us? 7. Expect subject to equal 7. We will mark that as pending. Because we know. Whoops. We know that it actually is going to return 0. So map equals map.new with the old input, and then we just need to loop over the correct values. Oh no, I think we need a new method because we need to know when we're at the end, right? So we can't just, we need to know the height of the map. Right? So we just want to loop until we hit the height of the map. This should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did I do that right? Whoa, whoa. It's supposed to say pending. Oh. Cool. If we had active support, we could do delegate height. No, that doesn't work because we need length. Map data dot length. I got to show someone the active support delegate functionality. They'd written a class that delegated a lot of stuff, and I made it look a lot cleaner. That's right. Cool. All right, now. We're going to instantiate the map with our input. We're going to set our x and y to be 0. And we are going to, while y is less. Yeah, well, also welcome, Hoth. Yeah, I also considered including active support, but I don't know, it's kind of fun to do it just pure Ruby, especially since I'm not going for speed or anything. But while we are less than map.height, we are going to trees. We'll just keep this in a height and trees equals 1 if just Ruby. If map.get xy equals tree, and then was there how much are we jumping by each time? Right 1, down 3. So x plus equals 3, y plus equals 1. And then we return trees. I think that works. Well, let's have the commander run it. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well. Part 1 done. Nailed it. Part 2. Time to check the rest of the slopes. You need to minimize the probability of a sudden arboreal stop after all. Determine the number of trees you would encounter if, for each of the following slopes, you start at the top left corner and traverse map all the way to the bottom. In this example, you would find 2, 7, 3, 4, and 2 trees respectively, and we need to multiply those together to produce our answer. Cool. Well, we can set up our part 2 test. It does the right thing. And expect subject to equal that. 7. No, that's not right. 336. Excellent. And that's got to be a pending test because and run that. That's perfect. So I'm going to do a bit of refactoring on part 1 before I attempt part 2, because I basically need to reuse this logic. So I'm going to pull it into a method that's not called solution, because that's sort of my runner always calls solution. I'll extract the map, and we'll do a few things. We'll move in tiny steps. So first, we will turn map into a memoized method. Excellent. And then we're going to count trees. And this takes a slope x, slope y. That into there. Place that was slope x, and that was slope y. Count. Ooh. Come on, fingers. Keep it PG. 3, 1. I think that'll work, right? Yeah, I haven't broken it. Okay. So then I gotta take these, try them all. How am I so bad at copy pasting today? So I'm gonna take these, stick them all into a array. Oh, whatever. And fingers. Oh boy. Getting to the end of the night. Let's just do this. So those are all the combinations we need to try, and then we need to multiply them all together. So to do that, we map them to slope x, slope y, and cool map dot, oh no, map dot get, no, what am I doing? I'm calling count trees with slope x and slope y. So I map that to those values, and then I inject that multiplication. Now, one thing I've learned, thanks to Jiggins, is that you can actually inject, unlike other things, you can just pass the symbol into, which I think is horrifying. I don't know. No, I forgot to unpend my spec. was bound to happen eventually. Okay. Well, let's try and do this more efficiently then. Okay, so I'm just gonna set this up one more time. Put this in. Oh. Oh. How about I just unpend my spec right now before we? It's probably gave us the right answer and everything. Or it gave us the answer we were expecting. Okay. You strongly in. Yeah, my only issue with it is that it's inconsistent, and it might lead, like, it might cause people to think that they can do that with other methods that they can't, and be confused by that. But it's just one of those things. It's like with one method in the collection works slightly different than all the others, bugs me. Now, I was running the wrong day, or the wrong part, so let's get our solution for part 2 and see if we got it right. Bet we did. Boom. All right, we did it. We went nice small steps, small enough that we didn't make any too weird issues. I don't know what I just said. Brain's not here tonight. We didn't run into any weird issues. We moved in small enough steps that everything kind of flowed nicely from one thing to the next. We sort of, for the most part, moved. I wasn't too worried about things getting thrown away because the steps, I was like able to be confident in each one. We lost code to a pending spec that we fixed, which I knew it was going to happen. But that's it. Thanks everyone for coming out. I will be back again tomorrow night doing this for day 4 of the Advent of Code. Still sticking with the TCR thing, seeing how far it can take us. This one was nice. You know, I finished in half an hour doing it this way. I'm sure I could have got it done faster without the TCR, but we're learning something. But yeah. Follow me on Twitter, SuperGoodJared. Follow me on here. Do whatever makes you feel good within reason. I'm out. Have a lovely evening.